morning, guys! Now I know, I can already tell, you guys are thinking, Rhino, you're not wearing a gray shirt. Well, that is because I'm wearing the new Work For It Apparel Hard Work Wins t-shirt that you can find at workforapparel.com. Hats, shirts, decals, all the like. You guys said you wanted a white shirt. It's been getting hot out. It's been 100 degrees plus here for the past week. It's been brutal, it's been miserable, but perfect time to launch a white t-shirt. So check them out, guys. Sorry for the long hiatus in between videos. Life kind of dealt me a pretty shitty blow lately, but I've been on the track to getting everything back to normal. And it's like I tell you guys all the time, if you want to be successful, it's not how you handle the good days. Everybody can handle a good day. It's how you handle the shitty days, the bad days, how you can pull through those and turn them into something positive. That's what's going to make you successful in life. So, as you guys know, I am pretty damn brand loyal, and I'm brand loyal to Chevy. But that being said, I am also an adult, and I can, I can admit when other companies come out with solid products or good ideas. So obviously, when it comes to trucks, you've got Chevy, you've got Ford, and you've got Dodge or Ram, whatever, take your pick. And they've all got their pros and cons. Now, if you ask me, I think Chevy and Ram are the top leaders in trucks right now. Now, obviously, if you're talking little features and kitschy shit, Ford's kind of doing it, so I can't really knock them for that. But if you're talking overall quality, longevity, and all that, Chevy and Ram are where it's at, or Chevy and Dodge, whatever. Anyways, that being said, I've also owned more Fords in my life than I have Chevys. I've owned 3 Fords. I had a 73 F100, I had a 94 F150, and then now I currently own this sweet, sexy 97 F350. So I think over the course of all the vehicles I've owned, I kind of have a pretty good judgment of vehicles. So when a lot of people ask me, well, Rhino, you're such a Chevy guy, why do you own a Ford? Well, at one point, Ford made a good truck. This is a solid American-made truck right here. Now, when did that cut off? Well, I think it kind of stopped with the OBS trucks. Now, some of you guys are gonna say, well, the newer Super Duties, or not newer, well, newer at the time, after these Super Duties with the 7.3s, were still good hardy trucks, and I'm not gonna disagree. But this right here, I feel is the last tried and true, hardy built American truck made by Ford. I've been wanting an OBS for a while, so when hunting for this thing, there were a few kind of key factors I was looking for. Number one, obviously not beat to shit. Number two, I wanted the lowest miles I can find, but these things are all pretty high miled unless you find that one rare gem. And I also kind of wanted it to be fairly stock. People put lift kits on them early on, and then they put another 100,000 miles on it. Well, the truck's been riding with a lift kit for 100,000 miles. Plus, you don't know the countless miles that have been done to it. I just wanted something that I could do myself and it hasn't been touched or beat up or shit cut off of it yet. So being out in California, finding these things reasonably priced is it's pretty hard. This truck right here, as it sits where I live, would probably be a $14,000 truck. Stock. I'm not making that up. So every one that I looked at was around that price range. It had 300,000+ miles on it, and it was beat to shit. So I had to drive about 3 hours away, found this one on Craigslist, called the guy up, said, yeah, people look ready to buy it. I raced up there about 3 hours away. Me and Chris ran up, picked it up one day. Now, the only thing I regret about buying this truck, and the only thing, is that it is 2-wheel drive. Now, it's not the end of the world. It can be easily converted and all that. The only problem is, to do any kind of real lift kit on it, you pretty much have to convert it first. But like I said, these things were so hard to find in good condition that I was willing to kind of give up the fact that it was not a 4x and buy this one, because mainly what I was looking for was a clean, reliable daily driver work truck, and that's what this thing is. Now, my 97 is about as stock as they come. This thing has been pretty much unmolested the entire time it's been owned. I am the third owner of it. It has 190,000+ miles on it, and it's been through, as far as I know, one transmission, which for the 97s is pretty good. The transmissions are decent, but they're not bulletproof. So, of course, it happens when I buy it that I had to put the new transmission in it, but what are you gonna do? The first owner used to tow a 5th wheel with it, and I'm sure that's where it got most of its damage. They also said it had a trans cooler that was about the size of a Ford Ranger's. So we upgraded to like an RV size trans cooler when we put the new tranny in, so we should eliminate any of those issues. The previous owner that I had brought it from, he was the second owner, and he's one of those old guys that when he sold me the truck, he handed me a binder about this thick full of every single receipt that this truck has ever had. And he had put in completely new interior. The seats were all new interior, plus he actually had them rebuilt. So it's not just covered over the old foam. I guess he had replaced the windshield at one point and noticed a little bit of rust along the edge of the windshield. And being, the old dude special, he said, nope, that ain't enough. They had to cut out the rust, completely repaint the roof. So, he did a lot of stuff right. Now, that being said, he did a little bit of weird stuff too. This weird step bar thing that's literally, it's in the worst spot ever. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it hits your ankle on the way out every single time. Like, it's just not in a good spot. You can't even step on it without slipping off of it. So that step wasn't a good idea, but you know, what are you gonna do? I just haven't gotten under there to cut it out yet, and I kind of think it's actually gonna work out better should somebody decide to crash in. So now when it comes to why I went with the 97 versus all the other years of the OBS, is mainly being in California, 97 is the last cutoff year for being smog exempt. And if you're in California, you guys know just how important that is, and it's raining. Look at this guy right now. Couple of white clouds, blue sky. I don't know if you guys can see it on the ground, but it is actually starting to rain. All right, we've had some weird weather lately. Anyway, so 97 is the last year for a smog exempt vehicle, which is amazing in California. So that in itself makes this truck worth a lot more. So obviously I wanted the newest I can get while being smog exempt. Plus with the 97 over the 96 7.3 diesel, there was a couple of small tweaks. Nothing major. I mean, I'm talking like a wire harness change and a couple of other things, but they kind of updated a few things on the truck. Another thing is if you go into like the older models, like the 80s OBSs, you're getting a naturally aspirated motor, so you're not getting turboed. Well, when you get into the newer years, the later, I think it's, I don't even know. I could guess, but I'm probably gonna be wrong. But in the 90s, I think 95, 94, somewhere around there, maybe 93, is when they started putting the turbos on them. So turbo makes a huge difference. If you have a non-turboed 7.3, you already know that these things are pretty damn slow without a turbo. So definitely want the turbo on. As you can see, it's pretty clean under the hood. I mean, it's got, you know, a little bit of dust here and there, but for the most part, it's a really clean truck. I actually thought about washing it prior to this video, but you know, it's a work truck. I mean, it's not, you know, the paint's not in perfect condition. You guys can see there's a little spot right there. You know, it's gonna need a paint job at some point. I'm gonna wait until I'm ready to build the truck prior to doing that. But you know, as far as like big dents or anything like that, the truck doesn't have any of that. It's really in great shape. And if you guys are into big tow mirrors, Ford definitely did not disappoint with the OBS trucks when you got the trailering mirror package on it. These things are huge. The braces are insane. I kind of hate them, but they kind of have that nostalgic look. I mean, I don't know if you guys remember like the old Chevys. I think Ford's had them too, where they came up off the top. You know, those are kind of the good old days. Those are the days when I was a little kid hanging around construction sites. That's what all the trucks had. I mean, shoot, some trucks nowadays still have that style mirror. So it's kind of a little bit of a throwback. It's kind of cool. It's kind of nostalgic, but I kind of want to get rid of them. So if we're going to go over a few of the bad things I don't like about this truck, and like I said, it's a solid truck and I love it, and these are just minor things. So obviously the tow mirrors are a little bit big for my liking. Now, one of the other things, and it could just be my truck, and it probably is, but I think there is a bent rod inside the door, because these door handles, number one, when the truck is parked, depending on the angle, there's a lot of flex to the truck. So if it is parked on a hill or like kinked a certain way, this door is a pain in the ass to open from the inside. And I'm pretty sure it's just because there's a bent rod in there somewhere. Now that being said, that results in you having to pull on the door handle a little bit hard sometimes, which results in a lot of broken door handles. I think this is my third one that is installed on there now. And I probably should just like rip the entire door apart and redo it. But you know, that takes time. And then the other thing about these trucks, and this is probably the most inconvenient, probably the biggest issue I see, is that these damn rear fuel tanks are such a pain to fill. If you guys watched my last video, you saw you hook up the freaking nozzle in there, and I think the fill hose is kinked so hard to the left that with the new vapor recovery systems that they have on the new fuel handles, it, I guess, shoots a little bit back into it and it automatically shuts it off. Now that being said, a lot of you guys left some good comments on my last video on how to kind of get around that, and this truck actually needs fuel right now. So I say we run over to the gas station and let's try out your guys' ideas. So I attempted to go to the Chevron across the street because I'm a big fan of Chevron fuel, but holy shit, what a clusterfuck that was. There's so many people over there, and of course everybody's on the diesel side, but I get it, all the other pumps were full, so obviously that's, you know, whatever, I'm not going to complain about that. But there was a line of about 3 onto the side I needed to pull onto, and then a spot opens up right next to me on this side. Sweet, I just need to swing around, back around. Well, as I do, about 5 cars come and like box me in from every single side as I'm trying to turn around to get to a pump so we can all get out of there quicker. And they weren't even trying to get to a pump, they were just trying to get out of the gas station. But Apparently they are not aware of their surroundings and they just box me in. It's crazy. But anyways, we're at Shell. Not the worst fuel in the world. Let's try this. So the first trick we're gonna try is, I was told to hold the handle, I'm assuming at this angle, to really press, I guess, the nozzle at a downward motion. So let's give that a try first. Alright, so as long as you're pretty deep in there, it seems that this technique's working. But with that being said, I'm curious. Somebody else said to hold the nozzle upside down. I think we should give that a try as well. Well, I think it's safe to say that holding the nozzle upside down may work, but the fuel looked like it was about to spill out and the vapor recovery system was not shutting off. So I don't think that's a viable solution. So holding it just real tight with it in pretty deep, but you still have to physically hold it up off that bottom lip of the fuel nozzle, and seems like that's the way to go. It's funny, of course, right when I start making this video, then the front tank decides to do what the back tank does, only worse. I couldn't even put more than a couple drops into the front tank without it clicking off, to the point of where I thought, well shit, maybe it is full and my fuel gauge is just jacked up. But finally I played with it a little bit and I got the front tank to take fuel, which is really weird because the front tank has never done that. But like I said, that's the power of being on camera. Shit's always gonna happen when the camera's around. So now that we're all fueled up, I need to make a Home Depot run, because as you guys saw in my last video, I was in progress of making myself a pretty sweet farm style bed. Well, the bed is essentially done. I just need to get a couple sheets of plywood to lay down for where the mattress is gonna go. And I know you guys are saying, why not slats? Well, these new mattresses that are coming out nowadays, they prefer a solid base, and they will take slats, but the slats have to be 3 inches apart at a minimum, and at that point you have a ton of slats and it's just not worth it. Sheets of plywood, in my mind, are better, so we're gonna run to the depot real quick, use this truck for what it was designed for, as a hardy work truck, and grab us some plywood. Alright, we just pulled up to Home Depot, and normally I would take you guys in with me, but my memory card is running low on the camera, so in order to save space, I will be right back. You know, one of the good things about Home Depot is the fact that they will actually cut wood for you. Now, I obviously wouldn't rely on them for any kind of precise measurements or cuts that you need, but I needed these just rough cut. They're going to be the platform for the bed, so I left some room for play anyways. So it kind of works out, and if you, you know, don't want to keep the scraps, you can just leave them here, which is nice. This is some nicer stuff, so I'm actually taking the scraps. Normally, I would just leave them because I have too much shit already. All right, so as you guys remember from, I don't know, I guess my last video, just had the headboard finished on this bed. Well, as you can see now, pretty much the entire bed is done. I went with kind of a weathered gray look to it. I think it turned out pretty sweet. You know, my OCD kicks in when when it comes time to make new wood look old, or to like make cuts look fucked up or any of that shit. I'm not good at it because my OCD needs everything to be perfect. So I usually end up building it perfect, thinking I'm gonna weather it and make it look real beat up, and then I stop myself and kind of go half weathered. So this has real clean lines, everything is nice and cut and tight, and then I just kind of went a little weathered, went a little sloppy on the gray finish on it. I think it turned out pretty good. And in case you guys are wondering what the plywood that we just bought was for, it is to form the platform, which would essentially be the box spring on most beds. But like I said, these new mattresses, they like solid surface to be down there, not a box ring or the slats or any of that stuff. So it's gonna be a couple braces under here so the plywood doesn't flex, and this thing's pretty much ready to go and ready to get carried up to my room, which Sucks because it's kind of heavy. I don't build shit small or light. All right, guys, well, I'm gonna jump in and finish building this bed. But before I go, I feel like if I don't put something, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, something motivational, something of value in these videos, you guys aren't getting your money's worth, and I don't feel like I'm serving my purpose through these videos. So one thing I get asked a lot about is people that want to start their own YouTube channel and that kind of thing, but they say, hey, my friends think it's stupid, you know, everybody tells me I'm dumb, why do I want to do that? And trust me, I'm no exception to that rule. A lot of people were telling me that's stupid, why are you running around with the camera in your hand? Till you show them the dollar figures. Now that being said, I don't get paid that much through YouTube as opposed to some of these other guys. Now, I'm working towards getting paid more, I'm trying to grow the channel, I'm trying to grow everything, so it's all kind of working together, but once they start to see real numbers, everybody's going to tell you you're crazy, and that applies to a lot of things in life. Now, I'm going to specifically talk to some of you younger guys right now that are, you know, in high school and all that. Now, I don't drink, I don't do drugs, never touch any of that stuff. It's not for me. Not my cup of tea. Now, that being said, I still hung out with the popular kids. I still went to all the parties. I still participated in everything that you would think that would exclude you from. You know, you could be you and still be cool. Like, you can still do all that shit. You know, I was into country music way before this Luke Bryan and all that stuff started plaguing schools. So I was one of the few people in my school that listened to Merle, Hank, Waylon, Willie, all those guys. And everybody thought I was crazy. Everybody said, why are you listening to that shit for? You know, you should be listening to whatever fucking laptop on stage is pumping out these stupid house beats and all that crap. But you know what? I never wavered. I was always me. I've been me. I'm the same guy that I was back then. I just always stuck to my guns, and that's just who I am. So for you guys out there that think you have to do something because everybody's telling you it's the way or everybody else is doing it, it's bullshit. Do what you want to do it your way. Don't deviate from that just because everybody's trying to pressure you into doing something stupid. Fuck all that shit, guys. Be yourselves. That's the best way you're going to get through this life, and stick true to whatever you think, because everybody's going to tell you all kinds of shit. They're going to tell you things ain't going to work. They're going to tell you your ideas are too crazy, you're dreaming too big, all that stuff. But you know what that should be? That should be motivation. That should let you know you're doing the right thing and keep pushing past that and get motivated to prove them wrong. I mean, it sounds kind of, you know, selfish to be like, yeah, I want to prove you guys wrong, but there ain't nothing wrong with that, guys. So get out there, hustle, chase your ideas, be yourself. Don't let anybody change that. Thank you guys for watching these videos. I appreciate everybody that has subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please click the subscribe button now. Please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. Let's keep growing this channel, guys. I am back. I know I took a weird hiatus. I'm trying to get all my pieces of my shit back together. That way I can keep putting out videos for you guys. We got a lot of cool ones coming up. We got a sweet Duramax pre-runner we're going to be checking out. A badass dually Cummins owned by a chick that I think you guys are going to want to check out. And we got to do a little truck shopping. So thanks, guys. I'm out. And real quick, before we go to the outro, I just rewatched that video I just taped. I completely forgot about the blow-up doll hanging out in the background, and her mustache is actually right here on the ground. This used to be hers. She was, yeah, she's got a lot of stories from the good old days. We bought her for my buddy when he was going away to the Coast Guard. I know a lot of you guys see this in the video and ask about it, so I figured, well, since I didn't even realize it was behind me the entire freaking last segment, here she is. That's what she was for, and I just don't have the heart to throw her away, you know? She's seen a lot, she's been through a lot, she gets to hang out in the garage.
Damn. Yeah. Yeah.